Welcome back to Metaphor ReFantazio! Last time we completed a whole bunch of Bond events, not as many with Alonso as I would have liked, but oh well. And this time we're about to head out on the Gauntlet Runner, but before we do so, I want to check here for our next hint. The Oceana entry. A tomb. Okay, right. We're not going to be taking care of that this trip then. Because this is our first time when we're able to select our routes on the map as we head out to our destination. So, you're going to be running her quite far, Neuros. We're going to head to the Forsaken, no, should I say Forcassian Tower for Superior Scrimshaw. This will be a 3-day journey.
Keep your wits about you.
However, we'll be making other stops along the way. We'll have to camp twice.
Which way should we go?
So yeah, now we get to choose our routes. You can choose by pressing the L1 and R1 buttons, at least on PlayStation. So this default path, that's the one that I want to take here. It'll take us through the forest campsite, the forest for the Soldier Solace quest, through that runner, then to the Stillwood camp, then through Katharina's runner, and then to the Forsaken Tower. We could go through here, but this will put us in the Tomb of Lament during bad weather. So, I'm going to be taking this path instead. This does mean that we miss Inundo. We'll get there before the toothbrush deadline, don't worry. That's a weird sentence, but it makes sense. And now, we should finally be able to do Hulkenberg's rank 6.
Sorry.
Here we go. Even though I am following the walkthrough in the Metaphor guidebook for this, at this point, the Metaphor guidebook is only doing Hulkenberg's rank 3, so I wouldn't even have Magic Knight by this point in the game. So yeah, it just really shows just how different things can be. For example, like I wouldn't have had Magic Knight's hammer to do that big attack against Godard. So let's see, can I... Oh, I can't actually make anything new here. I don't have the monster bone. I could make another magical bread, though.
Ah, tis you.
So, hello there, Hulkenberg. Let's take a breather while you are lost in thoughts all alone. And yeah, we have our view of the whole Brylehaven region at this point, or at least the very grim, dingy swamp region of Brylehaven. Okay then. I mean, considering you're both knights, I suppose that makes sense.
Tis settled.
I don't know about that.
Either the top or bottom options are the best ones here. I mean, true, we are used to this. He does seem like the kind of guy who would want to duel to the death, though. Just a warning before you attempt this.
And so...
Right.
It's like either of these do sound the same, but it's the bottom option's phrasing that gets you the most mag. Ah yes, the truant. The one who loses every second turn, and then gets copied by... And then via the ant is copied onto other Pokemon so that they also lose every second turn, and then are easy setup fodder for the battle subway, and my analogy is getting ahead of me.
If so...
This does remind me about those enemies in Psychonauts like Doubts and Regrets, and how the lack of presence of certain enemy variants in people's minds can say a lot about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is certainly going to be taking some very powerful... Well, actually no, he won't be taking Magic Knight's hammer or Hammer of Justice because we need us there, and that'd kind of be cheating in a duel.
Certainly.
So yes, we have to be the person who turns around so they can have deniability.
But...
Or impartiality, in this case. So, already up to rank 6.
Witness Trust my struggle and I shall stand victorious.
I think I don't typically get Hulkenberg this high this early, but this is mostly because I wanted to get the Gauntlet Runner only ranks out of the way as soon as possible. Which, granted, I actually think... Wait, Heismay? Aha! Yes! This worked out perfectly! So Heismay rank 5 is only available in the runner! So I can take care of Heismays on the way too! Oh, we don't get, like, a free cooking item out of that. Yeah, I guess they're not really going to give us items out of, like, bonds. It still really surprised me. Like, there's a support in Fire Emblem Three Houses where you actually get, like, a sword out of it. It's really... Yeah. A lot of fan games for Fire Emblem love to give you weapons out of support conversations. But anyway. Yes, we've got an ambush. And... I forget what classes I had at this point. But at the very least, Bombardier is going to help. I don't have enough gunners, though. Although I think Commander's weapon is actually Pierce type. Raptor Corvo. Thing is, though, I'd probably rather set up the formation of Vigor.
It's okay. Let's go.
It's okay, let's go. Okay, got the Forget there, and you're gonna also punch... And down. And now, let me guess. It's a green Elementor. These ones are weak to electricity. Unfortunately, I don't think I have that. Oh, Hulkenberg's healer, not Knight. Ah, if only I could use Magic Knight's hammer here. I don't have any electric items. Yeah, I get the sense this thing's gonna end up running. But I can at least try. Yeah, there's no way I'm doing this. Okay, I got a crit, but again, it's just gonna run. I got kinda close, but there it goes. Not that that would have been hugely critical. I've got a lot of mag out of just bond ranks right now.
The Gauntlet Runner arrives in a land grown thick with trees, the shadows enshrouding it as their claim. A warm, damp breeze passes above the Gauntlet Runner, its sensation cooling the thirst for battle. The night carries on.
I'm not used to my levels being this low. I wish I could have done the Cockatrice earlier. Yeah, in that footage I got everyone to like level 31, but... Oh well. I'm going to be leveling up here, but that's just going to make the Cockatrice even easier, which bothers me, because I like the main story battles to be more difficult. Okay, maybe his has to be done during the day. Oh wait, no, I already ranked up Heismay the previous day, so I'm locked out of his at the moment. I could try and cook more of these, but I will need to restock on my rock beans. If no bonds are available, let's go ahead and continue reading. Oh, we have access to this now. That's another one of those books that has questions, but let's continue on with Bygone Days. I think there's only one more session for this one. I wonder how good Heismay is at seeing, though. I mean, it probably doesn't matter. They still had a great time with that. More tolerance, yes. Courage is definitely going to go up as a result of this quest, so I'd like tolerance to be a little higher.
Now then.
Basically, the further you go into the... Speaking you shall receive! Rank 3 tolerance. And we'll definitely be getting courage soon, so yeah, we're pretty much getting stats equal to whatever our current arc is, though I'm reasonably close to having 4 in eloquence and imagination. With a career in politics, it kind of makes sense that we get those two maxed out first. Though ideally, we'd also get tolerance maxed out. Alright, that's another ambush. Quoth Muros, we're under attack! I mentioned this in a stream I did as a recording this earlier this week, but like, yeah, that's Empire Earth is awkward in the sense. How did you get on top of the ship? I mean, I guess you are kind of a cat, so you can jump pretty high, but still, holy crap, that's a big monster to have suddenly on top of our ship. But it's also the same thing that we fought back in Martira. I could actually try and take another Beast Fang Katana, though. How about the tornado in a bottle? Okay, ironically, it tried to use Skullcracker, which is the thing that I used to give it Forget, but, well, it's been Forgetified, so it can't use that anymore. Okay, there we go, goodbye. Of course, we get another of these Elementers that I'm almost certainly not going to be able to finish off. Okay, at least you've caught up and gained more strength. Not bad.
Appreciate it. See you.
Appreciate it. See you. And now let's move on. Yes, time finally marches on. That was a long night. And it's now the first day of a new month. But we still have some more traveling to do. Is that? Ah, it is Heismay. It does have to be done in the day. So let's go ahead and seek you out. Doesn't really matter exactly when we do this, because we'll have, like, extra opportunities on our trip. It is a 3-day journey, but still, might as well do this one now. It's pretty much the same difference either way. Whichever day I don't spend on ranks ups, I'll spend reading. No, he definitely seemed like one of the only reasonable people there. Yeah, even the more persecuted tribes can themselves have their own prejudices.
Because...
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Ah, this kind of thing.
However...
hold on.
And then...
It's always hard being in a situation like that. But they really didn't take that the right way.
But...
Instead, they chose to just remain just further isolated when, you know, was them losing their connections to the other villagers that are why they became impoverished in the first place.
Yes. Oh.
Just another one of the cases where metaphor explores a lot of interesting things, like even this village that's really out of the perspective of the main conflict of the story has its own issues that it's working through. And it's just led to the point where they even reject somebody who used to be from their village.
No.
Yeah, either of these give nothing, and the next one is the same. It's really all about just, you know, instead of just living in despair, now's the time to actually make a change in your life and do something.
Right.
Ah. Yeah, honestly, I can see where you're coming from. It's like, you know, it's out of sight, out of mind. You don't need to deal with the burden anymore. Putting off things that are hard is... it's often something that... I find it very relatable.
Surely. son, come back to me. I'm sorry.
No, no.
All three of these
Thank you.
give 3 triangles of mag, which I'm glad for, because they're all good options. So, we're committed to helping Heismay even more find his son.
The Gauntlet Runner arrives at the Gracia Forest, temperate and fertile. It was once a place of repose, where the songs of fairies echoed throughout. But as the furnace of commerce demanded its wood, the fairies began to vanish. And having lost its divine protection, monsters made their dens. Fear of what lurks among the trees drove mankind back, and the forest fell into sinister silence. The departed fairies would weep to see it now.
Giving it some thought?
That's a great backstory for this place. I mean, I don't know whether it's true. Mord is a storyteller by trade, after all, but yeah, it's that common thing of fairies being driven out by industry. That's probably why fairies are weak to steel in the Pokemon games. But yes, make sure you choose to stop here. We've already spent the day anyway, so we have nothing to lose for going in here. And wow, that's a really noisy, like, sound of insects and other things. Yeah, this really feels more like a rainforest type situation than that, you know, thicket with the goblins from earlier. There aren't assassins out here, no! I mean, okay. Okay.
Whoa.
Hang on!
No.
Overactive imaginations, huh? Well, you see,
Ugh.
I'm doing a bit right now.
Well,
7 samples of Dragon Thistleberry, and we'll also need to watch out for that Cockatrice.
That reminds me.
We'll need to have defense buffs prepared for that. Thankfully, Heismay has those as a commander. Also pierce attacks, but, you know, I've got Gunner, so I've got that covered. So yeah, no assassins around here, eh? Well, you see, about that, well, I've already maxed out the Thief archetype, so
Assassinate.
there actually is an assassin around here. It's us! I didn't even plan that, but it works out so well. Embrace lawlessness and chivalry in equal margin. Interesting. And yes, Heismay calls this the pinnacle, but no, there is one class
Steady effort is
higher than assassin in this line. Oh, it looks cool, I kind of want to use it, but also commander. I mean, I could inherit the defense buff, but anyway, let's just... Yeah, this is what he looks like as assassin, and we have Lurking Nightblade to start with, a hidden evasion debuff, and also dark damage. And more speed for Heismay. Okay, 2 more, so I need Faker on somebody and 1... Actually, you know what? This might be a good time to show off something. In fact, I mean, Faker... I think Faker's Slash, not Pierce. But...
I see.
I have heard so many people singing the praises of Faker on the protagonist. I have never tried this before, mostly because I prefer them to be offensive and not just using debuff skills. But I've heard that Faker's field attacks are really good, and I want to try and see for the first time what people are making a fuss about. Apparently the daggers are very homing. Okay, I like that sort of like finger click there.
really?
That befuddles enemies, that's a very good word.
Good. I'm still getting stronger.
Oh, they are Pierce. Unfortunately, they become fire with the Hellfire Fangs. Rare case where that's a downside. You know, I think I will actually use Assassin on Heismay for a bit, but I am going to inherit...
Alright.
I would actually like Psych. I'm going to inherit Formation of Vigor even if it is expensive. I mean, that's why I've been choosing all these good options for the rank ups to get good mag. And I'm also gonna need my Rakukaja. Like, I really could just be a commander for this, but I also like the ability to debuff enemies' hit and evasion. And now, Hulkenberg is currently in Magic Knights. And I've got Leap Thrust on her, thanks to Stroll as a Swordmaster. But I've also inherited a Pierce attack on him. Meanwhile, yeah, Will's onto Faker, but in terms of inheritance skills, I've got Kande. And actually, for now, I think I will inherit that on Stroll as well. Okay, actually, let's put Stroll in Gunner so that Hulkenberg has Magic Knight's Hammer for the Elementers. Then when the boss spawns, I will switch over to Stroll Warrior for Leap Thrust. Okay, onward to the Gracia Forest. That reminds me of the, like, Gracia Flower that turned Shaman into Shaman Skyform. I remember back there was a lot of controversy over Shaman Skyform, you know, not being banned at one point, and then it did get banned, and then some people were like, oh, it shouldn't be banned, and then others were like, no, it should be, because Serene Grace air slash 6% flinch rate is stupid, and now it's probably been power crept to the point where, I mean, can you even get Shaman Skyform anymore? It's probably been power crept now to the point where it'd be okay and even, like, OU. In fact, I actually kind of want to check this now. No, but still Uber. I also found out that Miraidon joined the ranks of Rayquaza in being banned from Ubers. Oh yeah, and also Zacian.
That sounds right.
Well, I'm on my last note with all the birds and bugs running out. That sounds right. Also, look at Hulkenberg. Yeah, that spear is cool on Hulkenberg. That's the fishing one. I guess, yeah, it's apparently meant for impaling sharks. So yeah, should have brought a bow. Well, thankfully Stroll has one. But I have my my kick, I guess. Yeah, this is a new experience for me. I've never actually used Faker on the field. Okay, yeah, that's good! Unlocked Synthesis God Killer. We're not fighting Adam Howden yet. Let's give that a rest for the moment. High dark damage to one target, high chance of instant kill. I mean, it's overkill, but I want to show it off at least. I mean, it's called God Killer. How can I not immediately use it? Yep, that was an instant kill. Yeah, that reminds me a lot of the, oh, they're all just dead, okay. That reminds me a lot of the lethality skill in Fire Emblem, so, yeah. Yep, definitely pretty awesome. I don't know, but I do often enjoy, like, assassin class in video games. Like, the first one I ever encountered was Jafar in Fire Emblem 7, and, like, I'm like, oh, this guy is so cool, please join the party. And then, ironically, yeah, these are the berries we're looking for. Ironically, he was recruitable, but I never figured out how to recruit him in my first playthrough. Also, there's more of these flower enemies. That almost ended extremely badly.
This battle's ours.
We're evenly matched. Guess we better stay on our toes.
Yes, they do have paralysis. So I know that thanks to thanks to Gallica. And they are only weak to fire, of which I don't think I have on this party. I'm tempted just to see if they have Garlic Aromatics. No, Aromatic Resin! Oh, don't have enough turns to use free juggling. Oh well, let's just throw daggers. And yes, as I said, this doesn't get debuffed from the back row, just like Gunner. It's a ranged attack.
Great work, everyone.
It's like, maybe I should inherit some more fire, but like, I'm doing well with my current setup, and this isn't actually a particularly long dungeon, so I can probably afford to be a bit, what's the opposite of frugal with my MP? Willy-nilly, I guess I'd say. Also, hi there, Loveless. Yeah, Loveless is here to fight the Cockatrice in this dungeon. However, he's not exactly putting his money where his mouth is, and he won't actually be involved in the fight at all. Well, good luck! Let's hope this isn't like NetHack, where if you trip over while carrying a Cockatrice corpse, you petrify yourself. I've never really played NetHack, but I know that's a meme, how easily that can happen. I think you can also do some pretty silly traps against enemies in that game, involving, like, making them touch a Cockatrice corpse. I'm pretty sure in most fantasy fiction, just touching a Cockatrice's corpse doesn't petrify you. And in some cases, the Cockatrice instantly kills you, rather than petrifying you. But either case, it does that by staring at you. So yeah, our topic of the day for fantasy monsters is the Cockatrice. Yeah, I saw the yellow icon on my map there. I knew you were coming. So So the cockatrice is a creature from pretty much UK medieval folklore. And that's a type of folklore that I do personally enjoy a lot, because, like, quite a lot of fantasy creatures I've noticed just come from, like, the realm of just pure fiction, like Tolkien. And it's weird, despite so many fantasy settings taking, you know, inspiration from, you know, European medieval times, it's kind of surprising how few of them use actual creatures from real UK folklore. Accidentally attacked the wrong enemy there. Was meant to go for the flower, because I could have killed this on the field, but oh well. But yeah, like I find it surprisingly rare that you see actual, like British folklore used. So, the first usage of the term cockatrice was in a translation of the Bible. Again, another appeal to me in that I love translation trivia. Basically, somebody used cockatrice to translate various Hebrew words for serpents. And these days, they're usually rendered as adder or viper. This was by John Wycliffe in the 14th century. So cockatrices, there's a lot of inconsistencies in exactly what cockatrices are. In some settings, such as this one, cockatrices are sort of a chicken-like monster that usually has some kind of trait of a serpent as well. In some cultures considered cockatrices to be born when a toad incubates the egg of, the egg of a chicken. A lot of the cockatrice lore derives from, like, superstitions when it comes to real animals. Just kick that thing into being stunned. For example, some superstitions believed that what someone's known as a cock egg, or a fart egg, or, basically it's an egg, a chicken egg that contains no yolk. It's often laid by hens that are laying their first egg, generally considered to be harmless, but in superstition they were considered a bad omen, and would hatch into cockatrices. In fact, some people even thought they might have been laid by male chickens, but then people realized that was physically impossible. When your luck is good, enemies will drop more loot and you'll land more critical hits. Yeah, I like the game's actually telling you what luck does if you go out of your way to actually find Mr. Teeth here. Attacks that hit multiple... Yeah, I did explain this earlier in the playthrough. It's a little kind of weird how that works. Oh, by the way, there's a manticore over here, I want to say. Yeah, there it is. Hi there. Yeah, it's showing up as red on the map because of Heismay. It's running this way. And it's weak to ice and strike, so I might want to switch over to brawlers for this. Also an excuse to spend some HP instead of MP. Okay, yeah. Now, you pretty much have to ambush this in the field. Otherwise, it's going to open up its turn by debuffing you. With Warcry. Also has a number of dangerous pierce attacks it can use. Oh yeah, you want to steal from it too, because it has the Chimera armor. So yeah, thankfully we now have the expanded info on the enemy screens that will actually tell us what its stealable is. Anyway, I'll talk about manticores later, because that'll be, you know, there'll be more boss ones later on in the game. I mean, I suppose I could go for Elite Thrust here. So yes, as I said, cockatrices, they were thought to potentially be produced by real chickens under various, weird circumstances, thanks to local superstitions about animals. And some people think that these superstitions may have kind of come from, Egyptian times, when, people were careful about... we're very careful around the eggs of ibises, I want to say, because people thought the fact that those animals ate snakes meant that their eggs could be poisonous, via the snake's venom. Which, to be fair, that's not actually an unreasonable assumption to make. Like, before we fully had the science to actually analyze how, like, you know, eating venomous animals worked,
We should be safe.
I can actually see people thinking that way. So yeah, the cockatrice is, like, as I said, it's often depicted as a, I'm gonna switch back to my, faker setup. And gonna inherit fire on scroll this time, because, you know, I can put lightning on for when the elementers show up. So yeah, cockatrices are sometimes depicted as a bird or chicken-like creature. Sometimes they're depicted like a snake, and in other cases, they are synonymous with basilisks. You see that in a lot of fantasy media. Sometimes cockatrice and basilisk are interchangeable, whereas other times basilisks are always the snake-like creatures, and cockatrices are always the bird-like ones. Just take out those ones from a distance, and now let's see if I can actually kill off this Elementa this time. Well, we have the preemptive strike, so it's pretty likely, but yeah. I'm actually not sure if God Killer even works on them. It might, but yeah. Okay, that's not a lot of damage. Yeah, first tier Kande, not particularly great at this point. Might just be because Stroll's weapon's not especially strong. However, I do have these specific classes to use Magic Knight's Hammer, which, yeah, that's... And that's why I got the better weapon for Hulkenberg. Auto Tarukaja plus massive attack power for this point in the game equals over 1,000 down. I think that's our first instance of over 1,000 damage. Even, no, I might have done 1,000 with Peerless Stone Cleaver at some point.
I have retained my edge.
So yeah, this will actually increase the damage of Lurking Nightblade. Hexed enemies take triple damage from Dark, even if it won't register as a weakness. So yeah, didn't actually know that in my first playthrough, so that is good to know. So I think the reason why Basilisk and Cockatrices are sometimes considered the same type of creature, yep, there are birds here, I had a feeling.
Your death will be swift.
That is a lot of raptors. But they'll fall nonetheless. I love Wild Barrage. It's just so silly against mass groups of enemies that are weak to Pierce. Actually, no, looking back at my research notes, it turns out that, it wasn't just the fact that people were afraid of the, you know, the venom affecting the egg of the ibis, it was they were afraid that it would cause a snake-bird hybrid to hatch. So yes, definitely very cockatrice coded. So Basilisk and Cockatrices became synonymous when a translation equated the two of them together. Also, hi there, Gold Beetle. I knew there was a reason why there was just a dead end out here in the middle of nowhere where there are no dragon thistleberries.
There they are.
So, yeah, once again, blame translation errors. That's what caused Basilisks and Cockatrices to end up being treated as basically the same character. You know, I remember there was a game that, like, my friend when I was a kid played called Master of Magic. I don't know if anybody knows of that game anymore these days, but, like, it involved, like, kind of like a real-time strategy thing where there were, like, you know, units you could have, and one of them were Cockatrices, and he always, I mean, that was the first time I heard the word Cockatrice in my life, I think, and, he always talked about it as if, like, I thought from the way he described it that Cockatrices was singular, not plural. There were apparently 2 worlds in that game, and if you won the game, you got a scene of whatever character you chose holding, like, a representation of both worlds they've conquered, saying, like, I am the master of magic, title drop or something, but, like, yeah, that's... I don't know if anyone else has heard about that game at all. It's something that I never played it, but I did watch him play it when I went to his house a couple of times. I was very young, though. That was a long time ago. So, be careful when you pick the last berry, because that's when the Cockatrice will attack you.
I see the enemy.
There's actually even more lore about Cockatrices as well. Some air forces use them as their emblems. It's sometimes believed that the weasel is the only animal immune to the stare of the Cockatrice. It's also sometimes thought that showing a Cockatrice a mirror is a guaranteed way to kill it. Yes, the classic strategy of... I think that's what Theseus does to Medusa as well. It's the classic strategy of weaponizing the deadly stare against them by making them look at themselves. Yeah, Gallica's right here. One more and we end up, well, yeah, we're about to get Mega Ultra Chickens. But first, let's take out these flowers.
Not bad, if I say so myself.
Okay, Heismay's already at rank 5 in Assassin. I'll continue using Faker for the rest of this dungeon, but I do generally prefer leveling up Gunner on Strength Build Will over Faker. Still, this is, like, the throwing knives are very fun. I just don't like the actual skills I'm getting out of Faker. I don't really want Will to waste his time, at least, you know, super buff Will, to waste his time, using debuffs.
I'd expect no less.
Yep, still no Rakunda.
I think we got them all. We'll be safe for a while.
Okay, not quite there yet. Enemies from earlier have respawned. There's another one of these manticores. Well, I mean, I suppose that's an excuse for us to not spend as much MP. And an excuse for us to level up our brawlers. So, another thing about the cockatrices that I found out on the surprisingly, hi there, bird, on the surprisingly extensive Wikipedia article on them, is that cockatrices were... yeah, I was a little too slow on the dodge button there. Cockatrices were used in Shakespeare, like as metaphors a few times, both in Romeo and Juliet and in Richard III. Okay, no forgets, unfortunate. Oh, that's a lot of damage! Wow! Yeah, I see why you're meant to ambush these. I'm glad you didn't use... oh boy. I wish I had a battle escape thing, but let's do that again. Okay, well that went better the other time. I mean, I was about to talk about what my favorite instance of a cockatrice in fiction was, but, well, that's better saved for... hi there, birds. You know, I think I will actually switch you over to Gunner. Oh yeah, this is what the Arcane Dragon Blood does, by the way. It restores all MP for everyone. Just one of those should be good enough for now. A Thunderstone? Now we can evolve our Pikachu! Okay, an actual attacking skill on the Nightline, but it doesn't really have a secondary effect, so I'm not really that into that right now. But, here we go. So, before this, I've got both Will and Stroll for their Pierce attacks. I have Hulkenberg... okay, I need a warrior for Leap Thrust. So I'll take Swordmaster with a Pierce attack inherited. And Heismay has both of those inherited. So a little bit more MP on those two. And I think we got this. Nice. Yep, we got our 7 berries in hand.
Hey.
But while with just one single hand, pierced through beak in the heart, catch fire now. Here it is. Thankfully, in this world, they don't kill you by looking you in the eye. However, they do still have an instant death attack, which we know to deal with by buffing our defense. It's kind of an interesting mechanic. If you have your defense buff, that attack won't kill you. Oh, we also have Phantom Tracer. Removes buff effects. Not bad. But first... yeah, only weak to Pierce. But let's go ahead and Heismay actually has quite a lot to do in this fight because I want to steal from this thing too. But firstly, let's fortify ourselves, literally, to stop that instant death effect from going off. And now, what synthesis do I have? I have a Mania Bullet, but like, it's already weak to Pierce, so probably should just use a Poison Shot. And Stroll can also Poison Shot with Swordmaster. Still can use that from the back row. This thing is actually quite high level for this point in the game, so I probably want to debuff its stats a little bit. So I'll go with the Leap Thrust there, and let's not use Formation of Vigor yet, because that would put us all in the front row before it attacks me. So instead, let's just use Lurking Nightblade to give it an accuracy and evasion debuff. Okay, so I've got to turn on Will, though, so what do I do here? Dodge Tank Heismay, I suppose? Okay, what are you doing? Okay, yeah, Cyclone. So, yeah, wind weaknesses are a bit of a liability in this fight.
Nice one, Captain.
I happen to still have Strike Dodge equipped. That was not meant for this fight. That was actually meant for the baby fight, but still. It's still coming in clutch. So let's go with the Pierce attack there. I think Hulkenberg will Leap Thrust and take its defense down another notch. Do I go for... I really want to steal from it. There we go, Serum Gloves. And now we can afford to just go ham and blast this thing with all of our ultimate might. I guess Stroll's shooting sword beams right now. And, I'm gonna actually jump back and, Mediline.
Helpful as ever.
She's a better heal than Medi right now.
Let us clean up this
Okay, Heismay also has a turn, but I probably should have used Formation of Vigor earlier, I just realized. Is that? No, that's not wearing off anytime soon. But I might as well use it again. We'll be getting our MP recovered after the dungeon, and, yeah, I don't want this to wear off, otherwise it can insta-kill me. Yeah, that's actually tier 3 wind damage, although it's available quite early on the second tier of, Seeker.
Get sloppy, Captain.
Well, that's not good.
You hit their weak points.
I stand ready. Moving to the front.
Still... You know what? Yeah, let's leap thrust it. Oh, it's dead. Okay, good. So yeah, even though it's got a high level, overall not that hard of a fight. Also, Tower White Mask, huh? I wonder why they think we'd be interested in masks at this point in the game. Especially ones named after Arcana from the Tarot deck. Now we have Assassinate with a chance of a one-hit kill, which I want to say gets higher if you use Hex on the enemy, so... I think the class is meant to combo, like, archetype class, get the idea, meant to combo like that. I completely forgot to talk about my favorite instance of a Cockatrice in Meteor, and that is, yeah, Cockatrices are interesting to a few of my formative experiences. Well, I was in my 20s, so this isn't exactly a formative experience, but, the very first episode of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic I ever watched, was, Stairmaster. It involves Fluttershy winning a staring contest with a Cockatrice, while in the process of being turned to stone. And that immediately cemented that Fluttershy is the best character. Okay, to be fair, I didn't like Fluttershy, like, as the show went on, I liked Fluttershy less, because the later writers of later seasons weren't as good with her as the earlier seasons. But in the early seasons, Fluttershy was the best character by far. I'm probably gonna start wars with that, but yes. She was just amazing, and that's not even the least of the epic feats that she does in, like, seasons 1 and 2 alone.
That's true.
But yeah, that was the first episode I watched of that show, because, like, I saw a couple of clips of, like, the songs, and, like, memes and stuff, and then, for some reason, I guess it was because I heard about the Cockatrice moment, I wanted to see it, and, like, that was the first one I watched, and, like, at first I'm like, I don't really think I like this, but the moment that I got to the Cockatrice scene, I'm like, okay, yes, this is amazing. Second episode I watched was the parody of Murder on the Orient Express, and that one also cemented my love of that show, but for making cultural references that kids would definitely not get, but still doing them in a kid-friendly way. So, yeah, that's that quest done. That's the dungeon pretty much cleared out. We got the gold beetle. We got we got all those items. We got what was the thing we just stole from the Cockatrice, actually? Serum gloves. Friend's poison, I had a feeling. Also +2 strength and magic. We've got the Venom Ward charm, which is just objectively better though, so that's why you make an effort to hunt down gold beetles. But this is only the beginning of our epic adventures in Briarhaven. I'll see you all next time when we confront not one, but 2 rival political candidates, and then climb the Forcassian Tower. Yes, I know it's Forsaken, but Forcassian sounds funnier. See you all then.